Welcome to WeBUS, you guys. I'm the host, Wes Piatt, and I'm here with my brother from another mother, Jeremy, otherwise known as the Jerm, the Perm, the man, the myth, the legend from Wisconsin, the weather capital of the world. He loves one of the worst baseball teams ever. No, I'm just kidding. Jeremy, thank you so much for being on the WeBUS podcast, man. I can't thank you enough for taking some time.
Super happy to be here, brother. Absolutely.
Jeremy, tell us a little bit about yourself. Like, you're from Wisconsin, but you're super stud dad, CrossFitter, all that good stuff. What brought you to WeBUS?
Yeah, you said it. Dad, got 3 beautiful little ones. Man, it sounds cliche, but they're my world. Most dads out there can probably resonate with that. They keep me going. I've been doing CrossFit for 12 years, 13 years, almost something like that. And I would say that is probably, that's where I got hooked up with you, Mr. Wes, I don't know, 10 years or so ago. And you were still training for the games and doing all that. And even more so than that, the seminar staff and all of that. I'm like, this guy seems like a pretty cool dude. And boy, was I wrong. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, I was gonna say, boy, I was gonna say that. You stole my joke.
No, seriously. It was like, all right, this guy seems like a cool dude. So, go on Instagram, start following you. And I think we chatted here and there over the years. And then 2021 now, right? And it's been three and a half years or so. Got this DM one day. Hey, man, you want to be in a dad's group? Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I never been in a dad's group. What does it entail? What are we going to do? I don't know really, yet, no game plan. No, we're just going to talk and build each other up and, stuff like that. All right, cool. I'm game. And that's how it started. That's what it was, just like, hey, let's talk to each other. Let's kind of build each other up. And then, and that's where WeBUS Dad's Group.
Heck yeah, man. So just so you guys know, and Jeremy too, I know it seems kind of weird. I didn't tell you this beforehand, but when I'm looking like this, I'm actually looking at you. And when I'm looking like this, I'm looking at the crew, with the crowd, So I have this, so when I'm looking down here, I'm looking at you. But
Gotcha.
Jeremy's part of our board of directors, you guys, and he's on the board of directors. He helps us with a lot of the decision making and specifically with the onboarding. And I can't think of a better person to be the first person that I see, I talk to, I hear, I text with than Jeremy. Jeremy will literally talk to you for hours, and he has talked to people recently for like 2 hours on the phone about just what they're going through. And that takes not only a patient person, obviously Jeremy, but it takes somebody that actually truly cares, because there's nobody in the world that's going to sit on the phone with somebody for 2 hours and just listen to them go and go unless they truly care about dads and people around this world getting better. That's my question. Why do you care so much about people that you don't even know? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the kind words. Like, means the world. There's a couple things. One, going back to when we first started and we didn't really have a clear direction. We're like, hey, we're going to talk. We're going to build each other up, however that looks. You came on very early and kind of just laid it all out there. It's like a 20, 30-minute video. I mean, let's say we're a month or two into this, and you kind of just laid it all out there. And I think your level of authenticity and vulnerability really hit me, because I'm like, man, I tend to be that kind of a person more than not. However, it's kind of shunned upon in our society, especially amongst men and dads. We're kind of told not to be that way. And I think we know that leads to a lot of the issues that we face, right? So it's kind of like, man, like if he's doing what I think we should be doing, so you couple that with, I've always had this take care of others, sometimes to my detriment, where I don't even take care of myself because I'm taking care of other people.
It's because you're
has helped me balance that, like, big time. Like, hey, dude, like, take care of yourself too. But I think because of that, I found a healthy way of doing that. I see these men, we see these dads that have bottled all of this up, all this trauma, all this stuff. They bottled it up and they bottled it up. And we know that never leads to anything good, right? It usually just leads to
An
bad,
explosion.
more bad, right? Exactly. So you want to talk for a couple hours, you want to lay it all out there, and then we get you in this dad's group so that you can tell other men, we can share experiences with you, not any advice, just, hey, we've been there. And that's the wild thing, right? Each dad in this group has been there, right? It's like, you think you're alone. No one else has dealt with this. No one can possibly know what this means to feel this way or to have been through that. And then you find out like there's 2, 3, 4 other guys who've been there or are in it, and we can share that experience with each other and that love and that all of that. And it just keeps me coming back every single day. And just knowing that we are, as men have told us, saving lives. How can I not? How can we not?
Saved my life. You said 20, 30-minute videos. I think we had 5 dudes log off right when we said that. I think that one of the cool things about this group is that we took it from being that huge group of just, bunch of dudes in there, and everybody was sharing 20 and 30-minute videos, which was overwhelming for
Mm-hmm.
most. And
Yeah.
too many
Totally.
videos to catch up on. So then we decided to break it up into regional groups. And we have Pacific region, Mountain region, Central region, and East region. You guys recently in the Central region, I was talking to Brian Bean about this, got together and you've done that multiple times. Like just
Mm-hmm.
recently they went to a Brewers game. I know you went to a Brewers game with a bunch of them a while ago. You guys gotten together at each other's houses before.
Yeah.
How does it feel to be from a generation where we made fun of people that made friends on the internet? Remember that back in the day? If you
Oh
had
yeah.
internet friends, you were a nerd and weird and you need to
Mm-hmm.
make real friends. And I think that that's one of the things that holds a lot of guys back from joining this group, honestly, is that
Yeah.
stigma that we had growing up of like, oh, you talk to dudes on the internet, those are your friends.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you're getting together at each other's houses. Your kids are hanging out with each other. You guys are playing, on the playground with each other and talking or whatever else with the kids and stuff and going to Brewers game. What's it like to be on the other side of that now, to have more wisdom of what it's like to use this technology to our advantage? What
It's
were those
inc-
experiences like, man?
it's incredible. You said it, like the stigma. You don't meet people online, kind of a thing, especially dudes. You don't meet other dudes. I don't want to say we cracked the code, but I feel like we really live it out in such a real way of breaking all those stigmas, all those what you do and what you don't as a man and as a father. Um, we just we've cracked the code on it. We're like, hey man, we don't have to, and there's no compromise in being strong. I think that's like the thing people, maybe dads or men, don't understand is like being vulnerable and being open is like the ultimate form of strength. Being able to tell other men or other people the things you've either been through or are going through, especially if they're traumatic, which, I mean, you could tell, both of us could talk about some of the things, not only that we've been through, but that
Yeah.
we heard and seen. It's like, whoa, like some
We've got
traumatic stuff.
some
That
serious capital T traumas that have happened in this group
unbelievable.
that guys are using as fuel, that are using to get better. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty amazing stuff,
and
dude. You
and
said we
that's
cracked
the
the
ultimate
code on
form of strength right there, is being able to talk about that and being able to be like, yo dude, I'm not okay. I might look like it because we're kind of raised to be that way, that even if it's not okay, just pretend it's okay until it is okay, and then maybe it never is okay, and then you're like, what do I do? Well, hey, that's where WeBUS comes in. That's where this group of amazing dads that share experience and love and openness, that's the ultimate form of strength. Because if you can heal from all that stuff, when you heal from all of that stuff, you can be your best. That means you can be your strongest. That means you can love the best. That means you can balance the best. You know what I mean? If you're not that, you're kind of living, as one of our awesome members, Alpal, says, as your false self. You're not who you are supposed to be. Only comes through being open and honest and vulnerable. There is no other way.
I talked about this with Brian in the last podcast, that Brene Brown has a TED talk that she does about vulnerability. And
Mm.
in that TED Talk, she discusses that she's worked with the most elite groups on both sides, both in the military, in major league sports, as well as in Silicon Valley and corporations. And the big difference that she sees between the two is vulnerability. When she
Mm.
steps into the Silicon Valley offices and the CEO's offices, there's very little of that going on. And when
Mm.
she steps into the Navy SEALs locker rooms or the NFL locker rooms or the WNBA, whatever it is, that's
Mm.
all that she sees, at least in the winning ones.
Sure, sure.
And I think that through us having that one rule that we have in this group that you can't share advice, you can only come from experiences that you've been through, allows us to be vulnerable because it doesn't make you feel like you need to be vulnerable. It actually makes you feel like you're coming to the rescue of somebody when you're
Sure.
going, hey, I've been through that shitty thing before. Don't give up. I got you. Dun, 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 dun. And we come running
Yeah,
over to say
yeah, totally.
hey, I've been through this before, and I'm not even going to actually help you through this. I'm just going to show you what I did.
Yeah,
Okay, see you later. I'll be here to help you out when you need it. And the
yeah,
way I referenced it to Brian was it's like a trust fall. It's like you got this group of people there behind you that you don't know are behind you, and you start to fall and you think this is it. This is the end. I'm done. And this is where I was
hmm
at before I started this
hmm
group. I was that this is it. This is the end. I'm done. Time to end it. And I started the process of literally ending it. And as I was about to fall and hit my head on the floor, I got grabbed
yeah,
by you, by Trenton,
hmm
by Donovan, by Al Pal, by Brian, by all of these dudes, by Jonathan, by all these
hmm
guys that came in here. Bijan, I feel bad that I'm not going to mention every single person's name in this group
right, right. There's
because
so many.
every single person in this group has had some effect on my life, on your life, on everybody else's life in this group through just sharing the shitty stuff, the crappy stuff that they went through. And who nobody thinks that that is going to be beneficial. They think that that is a negative in their
Yeah,
lives.
I was gonna
And
say
we're able to take
absolutely.
this negative and we're able to turn it into a positive
hmm
and then go share it and share it and share it and share it. The more you share it, the more you heal. Have you
Absolutely.
noticed that at all in yourself as I mean, we're 3 years into this, dude, man, we've shared a lot, especially me
It's
and you.
amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And we're both prior military, so to your point that you just said, I mean, you never. They call it bitching, right? Quit bitching all the time. Stop bitching. And you're like, I'm not. I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to express some concerns here or whatever. So it's one of the stigmas. But to your question, dude, the amount of healing, especially, I mean, I'll say in my own personal life, and everything going on when you're going through the ups and downs of divorce, and you have three little kids, and you're trying to make sure you're okay, but you're trying to make sure they're okay. You lose a job, you lose a couple jobs. It's I'll say, long story short, without this group, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. But I can guarantee you it wouldn't be something positive. One, I don't know if I'd even still be here, and two, it wouldn't be positive. I would be one of those stories that you see of someone that just kind of said, whatever. I've been screwed over in life. I've been mistreated, and I'm just going to kind of exist and not heal and not go forward and not share with others. So to have a group of you and all the guys you named and so many more to be like, hey man, I've either been there, or and this is what I did, or hey, I'm just gonna listen to you and love on you. That right there is one of the most underrated things, and you brought it up earlier. Just having dudes to like listen and love you and be like, oh dude, it's okay, it's all good. I might not have been through exactly that, but I still love you. I still care about you, and you still have tremendous value and worth. It's been absolutely, and I don't want to get all emotional. It's been absolutely personally life changing. This entire WeBUS thing that we're doing on a level that I mean, think 3.5 years ago, I don't think any of us really were like, yeah, someday we're going to have regional groups, and someday we're going to have all this curriculum, and someday we're going to have merch. And
No
you know what I
way.
mean? Like,
No way. I didn't
we're
even want to
right,
have this group, let alone have merch.
right. And now here we are 3.5 years later, and it's like, wow, we're like really doing this, man. And like, I mean, I can think of nothing better to do as a dad than to help, as Switch says, get other dads awesome and keep them awesome. And like, this is the most reward. This is one, besides being a dad, being a father in and of itself. This is the most rewarding thing that I personally have ever been able to do, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. This has been
Wow.
awesome.
That's huge, man. You've done a lot of things. You've been in the military, you've been on deployments, you've been a dad, you've been across the games athlete, you've been a coach, and to say that this is one of the most powerful things that you've done in your life is saying a lot, man. And I can honestly say that that's because of you. It's
I mean,
because
it's
of
largely
you.
you, but I appreciate that.
Oh man, I had a conversation with Switch about this the other day. Switch, you guys, just so you know, is Chris Ronas. He owns the company You Matter, MATR. Go check him out. He's dedicated to ending veteran suicide, and I think it's more about understanding the true path to greatness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
True path to greatness is forged through and surrounded by vulnerable, honest people. And if you are honest, at some point in your life, you have to be vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
because anybody that isn't vulnerable at least some point in their life, it's just not being honest.
Absolutely.
And we have
Absolutely.
some of the most honest people in this group I've ever come across in my life.
Absolutely.
I think the whole point of life is to surround yourself with a tribe, a
Mm-hmm.
group of people that not only support you and help push you along, but catch you when you fall back or off
Yeah.
to the side and kind of bounce you around. So the visual that I have, and going into what I want to talk about next, which is WeBUS camp, is like you got one person in the middle, and they don't know where to go. The people that are in front of them that are kind of lighting the path per se with the lanterns are the ones that have had those experiences, and some lanterns are shining brighter than others because maybe the experience is closer to the one that they had, and some are shining a little bit dimmer than others because maybe they've had an experience but it wasn't exactly like that, right? And they could still
Mm-hmm.
shed some light, but it's not going to be the light. And then you have people behind them like you're just talking about, where you're saying like, maybe I haven't been through this thing specifically, but I'm here for you. And they're the trust fall people that are like waiting and waiting and waiting. When you're going to fall, they're like, bro, there's a whole group behind you. You didn't even know. There's like
Right.
thousands of us back here like cheering you on, but we're being silent. And we're not sharing advice from the back and going, take a left, take a right. We're just letting you do your thing. But then you got people on the sides. And the people on the sides I think are the ones that bump you back on the path when you start to get off of the wrong one. And they're not there to catch you. They're not there to lead you. They're there to guide you.
Sure.
And I think of them as the shepherds. And I think of us as the shepherds on the board of directors, is that our job is to guide these group of men through the difficulties of life, kind of. And one of the things that we use for that, we have in the past and we're planning on doing again soon, is the WeBUS camp. Can you please share your experience from WeBUS camp #1 and what that was like for you?
That was incredible. As a Midwesterner, first of all, we don't have a lot of what Kelly has. We don't have a lot of the elevation and the ocean and stuff like that. We have our Great Lakes and we have some hills here and there, but we don't have the beautiful weather most of the time. So just flying out to San Luis Obispo in the first
Yeah.
place for someone like me, we're coming. It was like a movie. We're coming in over the mountains, the sun setting, the ocean's there. We're like, what in the world is this? Like we
Welcome to
land and
WeBUS camp.
right. I was like, oh. And then we get out. Even the air just felt fresher and very. I don't know. It was crisp. It was beautiful. And then we have Zeke waiting for us, and it was just like that first WeBUS camp. From the physical activity we did, obviously most of us work out, we do CrossFit, to exploring, and you taking us, through downtown and all, having fun and at the festival and everything like that, to the mental exercises that we did. It may have been the most powerful part. Just huddling up, and one of the exercises was who the F am I, right? And defining yourself, and working with somebody, one of the other WeBUS brothers, to define yourself, and then take that with you and say, all right, this isn't just an activity we're going to do here. This is something that, for me personally, I went through and did my who the F am I, and it's my, as you called it a lot of the times with I forget exactly what you use it for, but your North Star.
Yes.
I kind of use my who the F am I as my North Star. When I feel like I'm kind of like straying, or I'm kind of like out at sea in a rudderless ship, I'm like, all right, I just have it on my phone, just pull it up. All right, let me read through this. And it's only like 10 to 12 sentences defining who I am. It just guides me right back. And that's just like a glimpse of like WeBUS camp, and not to mention just the one-off conversations with other dads, other guys, especially.
Well, we're still talking about it like 3 years later. We're still
Yeah,
bringing up the things we did there, and like the where we all got up and you had what was it, less than 5 minutes to give a speech on what you do and how somebody else could do it, and Danny hopping up and giving 7 steps to starting a business and actually making it successful, and then Donovan popping up and giving like how to know that you're getting the right meat selections, because he used to be a superstore supervisor, and like it was just such a cool thing. Alpal hopping up on how to like conflict resolution, because he used to be a security guard in one of the train stations and stuff. And it's like, we see WeBUS camp as the one dude's weekend that your wife wants you to go do again.
Well said. Very well said.
Where normally you come back from a dude's weekend and it's like, you smell, you're hungover, you made some shoddy decisions, you need a couple of weeks to recover from it. You come back from WeBUS actually full and healthier and fitter and clear-eyed and ready to love your wife and tackle the world and get after it. So we're planning the next WeBUS camp now. Jeremy, if you had 10 seconds in an elevator to get somebody to come to WeBUS camp, what are you telling them?
Ooh. Where do you want to go? All right. I would tell you, if you are interested, honestly, in real growth, real fellowship with men that are like-minded, come to WeBUS camp.
Wow. That was like legit 10 seconds. Good job, man. Crush that. That was awesome.
I'm not really good at short stuff.
Me either, brother. Me either.
I like you.
Which is why we're going to keep this thing about 20 minutes. Thank you, Jeremy, so much for taking the time, brother. I really appreciate you. Hope to have you back on again soon. You guys, if you're thinking about joining WeBUS, go to WeBUSINT.com and look at this beautiful man's face right here, right on the main website, and then click below that Join WeBUS. It'll go to him. He'll reach out to you. He will talk to you, and he will get you set in the group that you need to be in. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for joining me today. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and let us know. What would you like to see next on the WeBUS podcast?
Thank you, brother. Love you.